Scorpio, this is your astrology reading for the month of February. And so just to talk a little bit about February in general, so there's a lot of Aquarius energy. And so it's a really good idea to listen to your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. So your sun sign is what you're the most familiar with. And so this is going to be how you express yourself. It's what you need in order to feel fulfilled in this lifetime, your rising sign or your ascendant. So if you're running your birth chart, it would be that first house. You would clearly see it. It will be marked as your ascendant. That is going to be how other people perceive you. So think about when you meet somebody, what their first impression is of you, and then your moon sign is how you process everything through your emotions, through your emotional lens. And so kind of talking a little bit about the Aquarius energy here. So for you, this is going to impact your fourth house of home. And so a lot of impact around your house, maybe a lot of upheaval around your house, because that is absolutely Aquarius energy. Aquarius does not like the status quo, does not like structures that limit you in any kind of way. And so really kind of keep that in mind. At the start of the month, we already have the sun in Aquarius and we have Pluto in Aquarius. And so the Pluto in Aquarius transit is a really big deal because it doesn't happen more than once in a lifetime. And so right away, we're starting with this energy coming into the month. And then Mercury enters the mix. So on February 5th, at just after midnight, so 12:10 in the morning Eastern time, so for Pacific, it'll be the night before, we'll have Mercury, Pluto, and the sun will all be in the sign of Aquarius at this point. So this is the rebel, this is the innovator, this is the one that just does not like rules. So right away, we have Mercury conjunct Pluto. And so when it comes to any kind of communication or maybe anything that you're trying to understand about your home life, there's going to be sudden change. And so that's what that Pluto in Aquarius represents. And so there's going to be some sort of transformation, but what it's doing is actually removing any obstacles or barriers. And so if you know that there's something about your home life that needs to change or maybe is in the process of changing, this Pluto in Aquarius energy is going to make it happen fast. You probably already started feeling it by the time that this video is even posted because it's already been happening for at least a week. And with Mercury entering to the mix, it's almost like now you have that understanding. Okay, well, this had to happen in order for me to go after what I want or for something else or something better. Something had to give here. I needed room for something better in my life. And so really thinking about it from that perspective. We'll also have Mercury conjunct Mars. And so the interesting thing about this is Mercury, planet of communication, the way you process information. Mars is the planet of action, but Mars is actually sitting in the sign of Capricorn. And so Mars in Capricorn is about actions related to these long-term plans that you have for yourself, this long-term goal, this strategy that you probably have in place. And that is actually, Mars is sitting in your third house. And so your third house is communication, short distance travel, siblings, things like that, but probably more communication than anything else. And so we have this planet of action in your house of communication as it relates to your long-term plans. And we also have a planet of communication sitting in your house of home. And so there's something here that's changing when it comes to what kind of plans you have in place, what kind of life you want to live, what kind of home life are you looking for, that kind of thing. We'll also have Mercury square Jupiter in Taurus. And so what's happening here is we've got a fourth house, seventh house connection. So we have your home. So Mercury, again, centered around your home. Now we have Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter in Taurus is sitting in your seventh house. And so this is your one-to-one, your personal relationships, could be contract negotiations, legal matters, things like that. But what it's doing here is it's really kind of blessing some sort of conversation or maybe some sort of growth conversation within a connection with somebody else, or maybe it's just growth in general, but there's something here that you're understanding on a deeper level. There's communication happening here on a deeper level and it's meant to expand. And so really thinking about it from that perspective, this is a really positive transit. And so if there have been any kind of obstacles or challenges as far as like communicating, creating that better home life with another person, your significant other, this would be the time to have the conversation because it's going to go a lot more smoothly. We'll also have Mercury sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so now what we're looking at is your house of home as it relates to your creative projects. So this would be your passions, the things that you enjoy doing in your free time. So those pleasure pursuits, including short-term relationships, maybe children, things like that. And so when it comes to your home, and now we've got this sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so what kind of dreams do you have for yourself? Is it a passion project? Is that something that you're trying to make time for in your daily life or in your home space? Because that's really well, that's one of the scenarios that could be happening here. It does require you to take some action, if I could get the words out. So action is required here. This could also be about children if you have them, or maybe it's about planning to have children here. And so that fifth house energy as it relates to your fourth house, there is something here about what is it that you want? What kind of communication are you going to have around that? And how do you prepare for it? Because that's being highlighted here. Then a few days later, we'll have the new moon in Aquarius. And so that's going to happen on February 9th at 5:59 in the evening Eastern time. And so now we add the sun and the moon, and we have Mercury and Pluto. All of these are in the mix already. So they're all sitting in your fourth house of home. We added the moon into this whole extravaganza of planets happening here in Aquarius. So right away, the moon is conjunct the sun. And so this is really a blending of those energies. This is new moon energy. And so this is that self-expression. What is it that you feel? What is it that you want? And that kind of energy when it comes to your home and the kind of home life that you want to have for yourself, this would be that expression. The sun and the moon are going to be square Uranus and Taurus. And so now again, we're looking at your fourth house versus your one-to-one relationship. So your significant other would be highlighted here. And so sun and moon in your fourth house. So this would be expressing the type of home life that you want. Uranus and Taurus, what kind of changes need to take place here? Because Uranus is very similar to this Pluto and Aquarius energy. It will shake things up. It does not hold on to structures that don't benefit you. And so with this Taurus energy, it's about creating some sort of stability. So what in your relationship with your significant other is changing, but for the better? This is creating stability. This is moving you towards the type of home life that you want to live. And so we'll also have any kind of blocks. Yeah, so anything that's blocking you from feeling stable, specifically within this connection within your home, that's going to be removed. So just kind of lean into that energy a little bit, because Uranus is not. It's literally the Tower card in the tarot, so it's not a comfortable transition, but it's for the better. We'll also have the sun and moon trine, the south node in Libra. So the sun and moon, again, this is expressing what type of home life do you want to live. And now what we're doing here is we're adding the south node in Libra into the mix. And so the south node is an eclipse point. So we're in Aries Libra eclipse season. South node in Libra. Libra specifically is about union, harmony. It's balancing relationships with other people. And now it's sitting in your 12th house. And so your 12th house is your subconscious. So what kind of changes do you need to make internally in order to have the home life that you want? So you're having conversations with somebody else. You might be planning for children if that's what you want, or maybe it's passion projects and pursuing those in your home life. And what changes need to happen internally in order for you to get exactly what you want here? Because this is definitely being highlighted. We'll also have the sun and moon sextile Chiron in Aries. And so again, with that self-expression in your fourth house, what kind of home life do you want? And now we're in a sextile Chiron in Aries. So Chiron in Aries, Chiron is the wounded healer. Aries is in your sixth house of daily routines. And so what is occurring in your daily routines that you need to heal from? Is there something here that maybe you feel insecure about? Is there something here in your daily routine that you just need to modify or change in a way? Because this is going to require action on your part in order to have maybe a healing conversation, maybe something else. And this doesn't look like it's a conversation with somebody else. It looks like it's more of how you are processing everything with that sun and moon energy, really the moon energy and this Chiron energy. What kind of changes are occurring and how is that healing you? How is that helping you kind of move forward and close up some of those wounds? Then we have Mars enter Aquarius. So this is going to happen on the 13th at 1:05 in the morning Eastern time, so Pacific the night before. And so we'll have the Mars, Sun, and Pluto all in the sign of Aquarius in your fourth house of home. So the moon's not here anymore, it's moved on. But right away, we'll have Mars conjunct Venus. But Venus is in Capricorn. It doesn't move into Aquarius for a few more days. And so what's going to happen here is you've got Mars is sitting in your fourth house. So what actions do you need to take in your home life? We have Venus sitting in your third house of communication. Again, Capricorn energy. So what kind of plans are you trying to create for yourself? What is that long-term goal that you've set? What kind of strategy to get there? And this is going to be trying to balance the actions that you're taking in your home life that kind of correlate to the long-term stable plan that you're creating for yourself, that kind of loving environment that you're looking to achieve. We'll also have Mars square Jupiter in Taurus. And so Mars, again, planet of action, sitting in your house of home. What kind of actions do you need to take around your home life? Square Jupiter in Taurus. So normally the square would be a challenging opposition or a challenging aspect. But with Jupiter in Taurus, this is actually going to go pretty quickly, pretty smoothly. That's the word. So Jupiter is a very optimistic, it's a very lucky planet. It is actually the most benefic planet. And so Jupiter in Taurus is all about creating some sort of stability, a lot of success around creating this stability in your personal relationships. So your one-to-one relationships, probably with your significant other if you have one. And so if there have been any kind of action or any barriers to having that kind of harmonious relationship with this person, now would be a time to kind of clear the air, work through that. Mars, I mean, this is action, taking action to kind of set things right within the relationship here. And it's really about breaking down some of these obstacles and challenges. We also have Mars sextile Neptune and Pisces. And so we've got a connection now between your fourth house again, home life, and then we have Neptune and Pisces. And so these are the dreams. These are the things that you want. So that fifth house, again, creative projects, children, maybe short-term romances, probably not the case here since there's a lot of like family and significant other coming into the mix. But it is about, what are your dreams? What kind of home life are you trying to create for yourself? Because again, this is going to require action. I mean, if Mars didn't already indicate creating action, the sextile definitely does. And so is there something here that you need to break down from a barrier standpoint, or maybe a structure that just doesn't work for you anymore? Kind of think along those lines. We'll also have, again, Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And so again, this would be that, okay, this isn't working for me. This needs to change. And so the universe is saying, okay, let's change it. Let's move it. Let's break that barrier down. Let's remove that structure, rebuild, build a new one, build a better one. And so that's really what's being highlighted here with this Mars entering Aquarius energy. And then a couple of days later, we have Venus entering into the mix. And so we'll have Pluto, Mars, Sun, Venus, and Mercury all in Aquarius, all sitting in your house of home. So that's a lot of rebel energy sitting in one location. And so what's going to happen right away is Venus is going to be in a semi-sextile to the Sun, which just means that the Sun is getting ready to move into Pisces. Venus is just entering into Aquarius. And so there's a little bit of friction between the two. So the Sun, how you would express yourself, and then Venus, what you value, what you want, just that type of energy, that maybe what you love. So there might be a little bit of friction here. This is not a major aspect. This isn't going to be more than maybe a blip on the radar for you. We'll also have Venus trine the Moon in Taurus. And so Venus sitting in your fourth house of home. We have the Moon sitting in the sign of Taurus. So this would be your emotions sitting in your house of one-to-one relationships. So your significant other. So emotionally speaking, so Venus trine the Moon, this is going to be a very easygoing type of energy. And so there's going to be a lot of, this is what I want, this is what I value, and this is how I can communicate it, or this is how I understand it from an emotional lens. And so there's a lot of really positive, if I can speak, positive energy around this aspect specifically, because Venus trine the Moon in Taurus for you, it's about harmonizing this relationship with your home life. And so really love this aspect for you. If there's ever been anything where you feel like you just can't get back on solid ground with this person, or you can't have the type of home life that you want for whatever reason, that is all going to go away. That negative talk is all going to go away. We will also have Venus conjunct Mars. And so now they're both sitting in the same house. And so this would be the actions that you're taking in order to get that type of harmonious relationship with this other person, or the type of home life that you want here. There's that balance happening. It's a really interesting energy because they're working together to give you exactly what you want, which doesn't usually happen. So Mars conjunct Venus, this is like a really, really positive. Just, you do have to take some action to get what you want. We'll have Venus conjunct Pluto. And so again, if there's any structures here that need to come down because they just don't align with your values, what you want, how do you see this all playing out, that will be removed. They will come crumbling down. We'll have Venus square Jupiter in Taurus. And so now we had Mars square Jupiter in Taurus. Now we have the Venus square Jupiter in Taurus just a few days later. And so again, when it comes to your personal relationships, your significant other, this would be, again, a lot of positivity around this, because it's aligning what you want, the type of relationship that you want, the type of love that you want to experience with the person that you probably see that way already. I mean, that's what that seventh house usually is. It's usually a marriage partner. first marriage partner more than anything else. It does also involve business partners, so that might be applicable, but I would say that's probably not the majority of the case. It's going to be around any kind of long-term relationship that you have. And so there is this opportunity to kind of expand and grow and really deepen this connection here. You will also have Venus sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so again, Neptune in Pisces is all about your dreams. What is it that you want to pursue? Venus, what do you value? What do you want here? And so Neptune in Pisces is sitting in that fifth house of children and your passion projects and just the things that you do for fun and pleasure. And so that's really, I love to see that synergy too, because it's really taking what it is you want, what it is that you value, what type of relationships and love do you want to experience as it relates to the dreams that you have around maybe passion projects, hobbies, or children. Again, like a lot of family is being highlighted here for you. This transit does require you to actually seize the opportunity when it presents itself. And so it's presenting itself a couple times, but definitely every time it's a seize the opportunity type of energy. And then we start to move into some Pisces energy. And so the sun will enter Pisces on the 18th. That'll happen at 11:13 p.m. Eastern time. And so we'll have the sun, Saturn, and Neptune all in the sign of Pisces, all sitting in that house, that fifth house of pleasure. So it's children, it's your passion projects, it's all of those really fun things that you enjoy doing. And so right away, the sun is going to be trine the moon. The moon is a very fast moving energy. And so the moon will be in Cancer when this happens. And so we've got a connection between your fifth house, all of these pleasure pursuits, and we'll have the moon in Cancer sitting in your ninth house, which ninth house would be long distance travel, expansion, maybe philosophy, religion, but philosophy not in the academic sense, in the these are my internal personal beliefs sense. And so there is going to be something here around what it is that you want. How are you feeling about maybe just internal beliefs is really coming through more than anything else. And so it's really aligning what it is that you want to do with what you value and really kind of coming to some sort of harmonious agreement here. The moon in Cancer is a very nourishing, motherly type of energy, and so that could be part of it too. You might be looking to expand your family. That is definitely being highlighted. If you are looking for children, that fifth house, and with that moon in Cancer type of energy, this might be some sort of growth in that area of your life. That won't be for everybody. Not everybody wants to or is in a place to have children, and so fully understand that. And so it could be also connected to higher education and some sort of passion pursuit from that perspective, or some long distance travel connected to whatever hobby that you want to start doing or continue doing. Whatever it is that you want here, the energy is very encouraging and supporting and really wants you to go after what you want to do. We'll also have the sun conjunct Mercury in the sign of Aquarius. And so again, we're back to your house of pleasure and your house of home. And so a little bit different here because we've got the sun sitting in the fifth house. So what is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you want to express? What is it that you want to go after in that fifth house? Is it a passion project? Is it maybe children? Something along those lines. And how does that relate back to any kind of communication in Aquarius in your fourth house? So is there something here? Do you want to have conversations, again, about maybe expanding your family, having a family, or some conversation around your children if you already have children? And so there's something here around communication, and this is going to be a very liberating, out-of-the-box, innovative type of conversation where new ideas might come to the surface, and that's definitely an Aquarius trait. And so that's being highlighted here. We'll have the sun conjunct Saturn, so they're both going to be sitting in your fifth house. So the sun is about expressing yourself. It is who you are. It is what you want in this lifetime. And then with Saturn, Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So when you think about those structures that are in place, that's the work of Saturn. Saturn wants structure. It wants you to come up with some sort of plan of action to go after exactly what you want here. And so with the sun conjunct Saturn, this might actually just be working on yourself. What is it that you're trying to do? Fifth house, is there something from a creative standpoint that you want to pursue? Is there something from a family standpoint that you want to pursue, like with children specifically? Or what is it around, what is it that you're trying to work on here? I'm even getting like music. So it is a creative house. So there could be something here with like singing. I'm definitely getting some sort of like music, singing type of energy as well. We'll also have the sun in a semi-sextile Pluto and Aquarius. And so what's happening here is, again, we've got your house of pleasure. We've got this connection to Pluto and Aquarius sitting in your 4th house. And so they're at this roughly 30-degree point, meaning that they're in different houses, they're in different signs. So it is creating a little bit of friction. So there might be a little bit of friction around what's changing in your world versus what you want in this world. Again, this is not going to be a major aspect by any means, but it is creating a little bit of friction. And then we have the Mercury will enter Pisces on the 23rd at 2:39 in the morning Eastern time. And so Pacific, it'll be just before midnight the night before. And so we'll have Mercury, Sun, Saturn, and Neptune all in the sign of Pisces, all sitting in your 5th house of pleasure and creativity and fun and children, all of those fun things. And so we'll have Mercury conjunct the Sun. And so this is going to be about expressing your dreams. What is it that you really want? What do you want to do here? That's going to come through. We'll have Mercury opposite the Moon in Leo. And so the Moon in Leo is sitting in your 10th house of career and public reputation. But the Moon in Leo itself is about creative expression. And so you've got Mercury sitting in your creative house. You've got the Moon in Leo that is about creative expression. Now you're entering your career into the mix. So this could actually be about taking a hobby, making it a career, or expanding it in a way that would lead to some sort of career, or maybe even a public reputation. This would be something along those lines where, I don't know, maybe you're going to create a YouTube channel, and that would be taking a hobby and putting it out there and creating this public reputation. Mercury is also going to be conjunct Saturn, so they'll be sitting in the 5th house together. And so again, Mercury, communication, processing information. Saturn, what kind of plans are you putting into place? What kind of work do you want to do in order to achieve your goals? Really think of it through that lens. And so when it comes to this 5th house of pleasure, what is it that you're trying to achieve? What steps do you need to take? How do you understand how all of that plays out? Because that's that Mercury energy. Is it a conversation? Is it just processing and kind of evaluating and reevaluating? Does this make sense? Is there anything here that I want to change? And so a lot of that type of energy with that Mercury conjunct Saturn. We'll also have Mercury semi-sextile Pluto in Aquarius. And so now we're looking at, again, 5th house, 4th house. And so that semi-sextile is not going to be a major transit at all. This is definitely more of just a friction point that might come to the surface. And so when it comes to this energy here, Mercury, again, communication, processing information in this house of pleasure. And then Pluto in Aquarius, what's changing? So Pluto in Aquarius is changing things in your home environment, and it's meant to bring out and really allow you to pursue these things in your 5th house, your creative environment. But for whatever reason, it's creating some sort of friction here. And so is there something that maybe has gone a little bit too far from your perspective, or maybe hasn't gone far enough from your perspective? So it is creating a little bit of friction. And just make sure that you're not trying to hold on to something too hard here, because that Pluto in Aquarius will remove it from your life. So don't get so attached to the things going away. There's a reason they're going away. And then at the end of the month, we'll have the full moon in Virgo. So that's going to happen on the 24th at 7:30 in the morning. And so what's going to happen here is we've got the moon and the sun are in opposition. The moon is sitting in Virgo. The sun is sitting in Pisces. So Virgo for you is sitting in your house of community. Pisces is sitting in your house of pleasure. And so we've got this opposition happening here. So think of it from like a creative standpoint. Are you trying to maybe go public with some of your creativity? Again, like a YouTube channel. Is there some sort of passion project that you're taking out into the open that maybe is creating a little bit of this push-pull energy? Like maybe you're not ready, or maybe you don't think you're ready, or there's something around the way that you're going about this. Really kind of think back to 6 months ago when you started this journey. Was there what started 6 months ago? Because it's really going to hit a culmination point. Does everything still align? Probably not. What's not working? What do you need to let go of in order for you to make room for what is working? So is there something here from, and it would be within this 11th house community, is there something here that you need to modify within the community? Maybe it's how you're perceived by the community, or the type of communication you're having in the community, or just how you feel about what you're doing and how it's being received by the community, because that is the moon opposite the sun. The moon will also be opposite Mercury in Pisces. And so again, that communication, is there something here that needs to change? What is your take on everything from an emotional standpoint, an intellectual standpoint, because that's the Mercury energy? We'll have the moon trine Jupiter in Taurus. And so we've got your community, how you feel about your community. And we've also got this expansion happening within your house of one-to-one relationships. And so this is a really easygoing aspect. When it comes to maybe your significant other or a long-term connection, there is this kind of harmony happening between what you, I want to say, it's like how you feel about the community around you, maybe the people that you surround yourself with, and how do you feel and how do you treat them and how do they treat you. There's like a really positive aspect to this. And then with Jupiter and Taurus in your house of personal relationships, there is this kind of harmony here with your significant other. So it's almost like, I don't know, like they're accepting of this person, or I'm trying to think of the way that this feels, because it does feel like something here might be changing, because there is the Mercury energy here. There is the sun, so expressing yourself. And so it is almost like you're trying to grow your relationship with your significant other, but it's also impacting your community in a really positive way. We'll also have the moon opposite Saturn in Pisces. And so again, Saturn sitting in your house of pleasure. And so what structures do you have in place? What is happening here? How does that relate to how you see yourself within the community? So is there something here that needs to change? Is there something about the structure that you've put in place or the action plan that you've put in place that needs to be modified in order to get the type of community life that you want? Because the moon in your house of community is about understanding all of the details. It is Virgo energy, so it's a very perfectionistic type of energy. And so you're probably thinking a lot about how do you want to be perceived in your community? What type of relationships do you want to have with those people? And then how does your significant other impact this? How does your house of creativity, their pleasure, children, all of those things, how does that impact your community as well? And so Scorpio, that's your reading for the month of February. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.